All right, guys, welcome. Today we're going to be discussing tilt wall as it relates to electrical roughing and electrical installation. Just want to give you guys a few pointers and some tips on what I do whenever I'm given a project and I have to go through it. And I see that there's tilt walls on it, especially when dealing with schools. A lot of these precast walls are usually poured on site, and a lot of the roughing happens on site. So being prepared and having a little bit of knowledge to get started and get moving on. Once you learn it, it's pretty easy. The biggest thing is being prepared and having things set up prior to roughing in these tilt walls and the tilt walls being formed. So we'll go through a few things and we'll discuss it in detail. All right, so tilt wall electrical installation. Installation of electrical systems in tilt up walls. Okay, so as you can see, we got a picture of a crane actually erecting the tilt walls, and in the bottom corner you can just see it, how the tilt walls look prior to concrete being poured. And right next to it you see, if you're going from right to left, you see that there's some tilt walls that have already been poured. I'm gonna show you guys some pictures of before and after concrete and how it looks when those tilt walls finally get erected and get welded in place with their angle irons and beams and whatnot, along with the joists. So this guide outlines the essential steps and best practices for installing electrical systems within tilt-up wall construction. A lot of these buildings, whether it be large warehouse, industrial warehouses, schools, things of that nature, you'll have a lot of the stuff that you would have to do on site. And you could get really, really creative as far as putting in sleeves for conduits to pass through in lieu of core drilling. If you got everything laid out right, and if you have enough time. Time is the biggest thing too. So if you do get a project that has a tilt walls on it, take the time out and become one with those drawings and learn, what goes where. And trust me, you will save a lot of time and energy if you be a little creative with your roughing installation. Another one is planning and design, just as we discussed earlier. Understanding electrical layout, blueprint reading, and how to use Bluebeam to mark up your drawings. I like Bluebeam because I can mark up those drawings, save them as a PDF, email them, or put them up and upload them on one of the platforms that we use, Autodesk, for the guys to see it. One of the things I'll show you is that it's really not the scale, so you have to plug your measurements in there, which is not a big deal. So guys don't really have to do that much thinking. They get the box, they get the measurement, they rough in the box, they rough in the pipe, and they move on to the next one. Obviously, understanding architectural plans. Check for overall layout, dimension, and design details. This is really important when you're talking about reflective ceiling plans, the height of the ceiling, when you want to stub in at. A lot of the boxes that you will be putting in these tilt walls, you got to have them go somewhere. Most likely they're going to probably go up above the ceiling. So knowing what area that you're working in, where that tilt wall is at, what number, obviously what that panel number is, and getting your stub ups above ceiling. I made a lot of mistakes by assuming that in certain areas I would, especially in typical areas like classrooms, I'll come up 10'6", then I'll have another tilt wall and I didn't pay attention. I roughed my 90 up to about 12 feet or 10'6", and the ceiling is like 12 foot. So I'm below the ceiling. So understanding that and knowing where to put your sleeves. I've done the same thing with sleeves. I put them below the ceiling, but not paying attention to the reflective ceiling plan. So that's very, very important. As we mentioned right here in our next bullet point, ensure they align with the architectural plans as it relates to the reflective ceiling. Verify the placement of outlets and any necessary equipment when stubbing up your conduit, just like we discussed earlier. Okay, moving on. Planning and design. As we mentioned before, how to use Bluebeams for marking up tilt wall drawings. Here's an example of a bird's eye view of area 100. On the left, you can see the placement of the panels, and we'll go into greater detail later on in this video, but just trying to give you just the meat and potatoes of right now. So on the left side, you have the area view of how it looks where the tilt walls are going. On the right side, you actually have the vertical panels where you could take your measurements and where you want to place your boxes, especially when you're dealing with putting things on the exterior, making sure that the boxes are straight and level, because the worst thing you could do is have a crooked box. You put a bell box cover on there or whatever device and it's crooked, it's aggravating. Same thing with speaker boxes and fire alarm boxes. It's very, very aggravating. And you're going to get some of those that's going to be crooked, but you got to be creative in fixing it, and you don't want too many of it. Another bullet point is laying out boxes, stub ups and sleeves, as we talked about earlier, making sure the sleeves are above ceiling. Prefab, utilize prefab. Have them make your boxes. They don't have to be perfect, but as we did with our fire alarm, we had an in and an out. We had PVC connectors that were already made up for us, duct tape with tie wire ready to go. We set it in there. If you don't want to use one of the connectors for whatever reason, because you don't need one, so be it. Unless that's less work you have to do. Prefab does all the work for you. You just got to put them in and make sure that you measure it correctly. Here's another picture of an area where the tilt walls are up and being supported by braces. But a question that I have for people who are starting to do tilt walls is that, what are tilt walls? Obviously, they're precast, cast in place sometimes, and they're laid out on the job site or in a remote area and being brought into it. But as we look at the actual definition of tilt walls, they're also known as tilt-up construction, which represents a modern building technique where large concrete panels are precast on site and subsequently tilted into position to form the structure of the building. This method is particularly prevalent in commercial and industrial constructions due to the efficiency and durability. Given that electrical installation is often required within these precast walls, meticulous pre-planning, should I say, is essential prior to commencing the electrical rough-in. In this presentation, I will demonstrate how to effectively mark up your tilt wall drawings using your electrical plans along with Bluebeam software to facilitate in design and pre-planning. So we'll talk about that there, and we'll go and understand, how to lay it out and what to look for and the do's and do nots. Okay? All right. All right, guys, we're back. I went ahead and just got Bluebeam open. I'm gonna try to go through this video kind of quickly. And if there's any questions or anything, we can expand on it later. But the biggest thing, I just want you to get the concept of what we're doing. So right now, I have the electrical drawings pulled up on one side, along with the architectural drawings here. And on this side, I have the overall view of the tilt walls. I also have the markups that were done prior to the project starting. And then I have some overview and a few other examples of aerial pictures so you can actually see how it all comes together. And again, I don't want to make the video too long. I just want to get your brain moving and get you to understand if you're ever doing tilt walls, there's a lot to it that you got to go through. And if you just know these little bit of tips, it will make your job easier. So obviously the first thing we want to do is we want to establish what electrical is going into what. So we're going to look at area 300 real quick. I'm going to blow this up on this side. As you can see, Most of the stuff is inside, but you do have tilt walls that run along the 100 or the stairwell going back out to here. And I'm going to show you how you can identify that. So this is area 300. We're going to go and pull up area 300 here. So that's going to be 200. And this is area 300. So you can see, let's just make that a little bit bigger. The area view of what's going on in area 300. You got the stairwells on this side and on the other side as well. And then you also have the bathrooms here. Now, I know what's going on in this project. Obviously, I've been working on this one for a while, but again, I don't want to make this video too long. Just want to give you the meat and potatoes. So let's look at, so what you do is that when you see your overall tilt wall, now again, we're working in area 300, and what I like to do is I like to start from one side and work my way through around to make sure that I'm not missing anything. And again, you'll have exterior lighting, you'll have exterior fire alarm, you'll have exterior speakers, you'll also have lightning protection that needs to go up in these walls. That will be for a later conversation. But for now, I just want to show you how you get started. So obviously when you get started, you want to look at your electrical. And we'll go here, we'll pop over here on the electrical side here. And we are looking for, let's just start on exterior right here. So right now we've got the mechanical and electrical room there. And here is where, as you can see, you see that wall there. That's the electrical room. And 116 is electrical room, and it goes down and it kind of curves down. So if we look at panel 116 right now, we can see that on 116 here, I have an exterior receptacle there, right? So here's an example of what you want to do. So 116. We have an exterior receptacle. Now we know that our receptacles are 18 inches from finished floor. So what we're going to focus on, just this one receptacle and what panel number we need to look at. So we're looking at panel 116. So we definitely want to go to our vertical panels here, and we want to look for that 116. And as you can see, each and every, oh, sorry about that. As you can see, they're all labeled. And this is me going through, when I was doing it, highlighting all the panels that I went through. So we're going to go to 116. Let's see, which is going to be right here. And as you can see, I have it labeled. I have a GFCI there. And let's go ahead and put these side by side. And it's good to put them side by side so you can see where you're at. Let's close this window here because we're just using this one panel. So 116 right there. We went and looked at the overall drawings. We see that. Let's go here. Area 300. Which is 116, which is here. We got a device there. And again, you know, and you want to do this with every tilt wall. And what I like to do is I just start from the beginning. I go from tilt wall 1, P1, panel 1, and I just go through all of them. They're like 250, 260 tilt walls, and then like here's an example. I'll just show you P1. So we need to know where P1 is at. Okay, you say, well, how do we know where P1 is at? And obviously we want to look at the electrical drawings to see it. Well, we go back to our tilt panel overview and we go and look for P1. So right here is not there. So it's got to be, oh, where is it at? There's P3, P2, and P1. So we know that P1, let's look at it again so you don't think I'm crazy. We know that P1, which is the first panel that we looked at here, P1. We're looking at the overview, P1. We go back. Oh, it's in area 200. So we know we're going to start in area 200. That's the first panel, not necessarily the first panel that's going up, but that's the first panel listed. And again, when you break out your drawings like this and you do a side by side, it helps with efficiency and timing. And you'll also have things like lighting. Let's just do one lighting real quick. Okay, we're still in area 300. Boom, 300. And we know that we just worked on I think that was P16, 116. And now we're going to look and see how we laid out this light here. So we're going to go back. We're going to look at the overview. We're in area 300 again. So we're going to go up one. So area 300 there. We know we got a light in this P115. And if you look closely, which is nice about these tilt wall drawings, is that you can see kind of where the door is at right here. Let me highlight it for you so you can see. You see there's an opening right here. And if you look on this side, there's the opening for the door right. Well, I didn't do that quite right, but so you can kind of see right here the door, and then the start of the panel, it starts there. Let me put an arrow so you can see it. So you know the panel starts there and it ends here. And it ends there. So that is your 115 tilt panel right there. And it's obviously they have the measurements there. It's 9 foot 8 inch wide panel. So that's P115. We know we got a K1 fixture on there because we just verified it here on our electrical, right? So now we're going to go to the vertical tilt wall drawings, and we're going to find that one. I already forgot the number, 115. Yeah, 115. Just double check. So we go up to 115. See if we got that laid out on this one. And let's actually make that bigger so we can actually see. All right, so 115. We are here, and what do we have here? Oh, there's our K1 fixture. Now, here's another thing I want to show you, because there's also things that are on there that I haven't showed you. Again, I don't want to make this video too long. I'm already 10 minutes in, over 10 minutes. So you have here, that's your K1 fixture, right? I even have it marked, K1 fixture, and you also have a door contact that's there. That needs to be stubbed inside of the room above ceiling. So as you can see, this is not really the scale, because all you see the measurement of the door, you see the measurement of the tilt wall, where it's going to be at. But as far as what we need to lay out, we can't really scale it. So I plug in the actual measurements there, and you can do that using Bluebeam as well. So from the bottom of the panel to the top of this pipe needs to be 12 foot 3 inches. The problem that I had when I first started doing them is that I was coming from finished floor and measuring up, and it was kind of complicated because you have to add in the 1 foot 3. So it's just easier to say, okay, from finished floor, I want to be up there 11 feet. I add 1 foot 3, just come from the bottom of the panel, and you'll have 12 foot 3. It's easy. You can just measure from the bottom of the panel, move up. Don't try to find the finished floor, because you're not going to get that in the tilt wall panel, because obviously at 1 foot 3 of that panel is going to be below the finished floor. So it's just easier just to measure from the bottom. But anyway, I would leave it there for now, or leave it here for now, and I'll just include a couple of pictures on the B-roll so you can kind of see the transition from rough end to forms to concrete being poured to erections. And then hopefully this helps you out a lot. If there's anything else you want to know, or you're going through tilt walls, just hit me up in the comments, and I'll address any issues that you have, and we could talk through them together. Again, this is one of those things that you could get really creative on. You can grow with it. You can always learn different things. I know it's just right now it's just rough end, but there's clever ways where you can get sleeves through that you need to get through without having to core drill and doing things of that nature. So again, I hope this information is helpful. I'll do my best to try to get more videos out. I'm just finishing up a project, so I hadn't had really enough time to come on here and give you more content, but I will be working on more content, especially as I start my new project coming up here in St. Johns County. I'm not really sure where it's at. There's a couple of projects that we're looking to do, but I'm not sure which one I'm going to be on yet. So anyway, all right, guys, hope you like this video. I'll chat with you guys later.